Hello there. Hopefully I am audible and that everyone can hear me. Um, do send me a message in the chat if you can't hear me. Um, Merry Christmas. I am today wearing a Christmas hat from the Felix Project, a charity that collects food waste, food that would have otherwise gone to waste from supermarkets and farms and so on, and distributes it to food banks and people who need it. And continuing with the Christmassy theme, today we're going to be continuing to model the spice rack I was working on last week. I've got a print on at the moment. Oh, I need to take off my message. There we go. I'm not liking the look of that little bit of fluff or excess plastic material in the middle. I'm going to quickly nudge that bit of plastic in the middle to make sure we don't have any errors. Nearly got my fingers caught in there. That was silly. But yeah, that should be cleared. Today I'm printing a hockey stick holder of sorts. Little request. The designer or whoever hosted the design is called Oxdog. The Oxdog get the credit. So that's what's printing in the background. Perhaps if we have time, we'll do a prototype from the Spice Rack project. But for now, hockey stick holder. So what we're working on today is, as I said, getting back into the Spice Rack project. I've been to the kitchen where I am planning to put this in. This is a gift for my mum, and I need to make a few changes. Firstly, the width of this thing, about that, or length as it were, let's say, needs to be longer. I'm trying to make this a unit of tiles in the kitchen. There are kitchen wall tiles. I thought that these wall tiles were 140 mil. Turns out they're actually a little bit bigger. So let's start by getting some reference images. Normally I don't bring images into Rhino, but I've started doing that because of this stream. And I'm finding it useful, so I might continue that. I'm just going through some pictures that I took of kitchen, and specifically I want to get the width of a tile. Right, here's a let's have that about the same. Now, I make that 1, 4, 7. And then I make the grout 4 mil wide. So if I have firstly, let's get layers panel. Get in. One, 4, 7. 1, 4, 7. And move this tile over by 4 mil. That's the kind of situation we're looking at there. Just going to do some checks real quick. Pardon me. Okay, yeah, back to it. So these are the tiles, which gives me a width of gosh, my laptop's running really slow. Going 298. Now that's actually a little annoying because I had hoped to get it within 250 something. The current length is 210. Which, hang on, that doesn't make sense. 210. That's a tile and a half. So 210. That's the current size. But if we actually go from the midpoint of that tile to the end of that one, 224.5. What a totally irrational number. Not irrational in the mathematical sense, irrational in the it doesn't make sense. So if I say that the module length is 1.5 tiles, what I want to do is one of the things I want to add tonight is a hole in the wall here so that it can be mounted to the wall behind. Yeah, a raw plug in the grouting so it can be mounted. Now, I know this is meant to be a kind of open source available thing for all households. But in the first instance, it's a gift for my mum's kitchen. So I'm going to design it specific and then later down the line try and parameterize it so that it's more adaptable. But for now, we're going to put a line in the midpoint. So I'm going to find the center line down here. This is going to be the center line. And just for clarity, I'm going to gosh, my laptop is running really slow today. Line type, center. Now, what is the distance from the center of the grout to our new module width? 75.5. Copy that line. No, better than copy it, we're going to mirror it. Mirror to there. Now, I want to check, is that actually exactly a third? Or it's not going to be a third, 70. A little bit closer in the middle than the outsides. That's not satisfying, but it's sort of realistic. Fine, so if this is the tile situation, let's modularize this a little. Take these two, move them by 4, and then take that. Give them up by 4. Just to make it a bit easier to see, I'm gonna chamfer corners just for this little demonstration. Make a little group out of those and copy. Did that only take the center? Perhaps. Copy all values, including the module bit, and move that to out. Do it for I think we've got a bit of a problem. Well, firstly, this is getting really difficult to look at. So let's no, not tamper. Change layer, put it in a different layer. I think we've got a bit of a problem. So the first one aligns with the grout. The second one aligns with the grout. But the third one doesn't. The third one, because it's abutted up to the edge, it's offset by the grout amount so that the holes are not hitting the third grout along. So, is that going to be a problem in this case? Well, I don't think it's going to be, because let's look at our reference images again. Do 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 do. I've only really got 3 tiles in a row. So I think that's going to be fine. Plus, I want to do a feature thing in the corner. So moving all the spices along. Yeah, I think that's going to be fine. It's not going to be that long anyway. So we're anticipating 2 side by side. And even if it does go over and misalign with the grout, well, we'll just fix it in places. Fine. So the new width is 224.5. I think that's going to fit in the printer. And the new hole position is 75.5 mil in. Talking of printer, let's take a look. We are nearly done. That's looking crazy. printing in a 0.8mm nozzle, so it's going to be quite thick layer lines. Usually adds a bit of strength that way, but it's more visible. So I might try this one in 0.08 and then another one in oh, we're done. Look at that. Here we go. I don't think that's come out too bad. It's quite visible on top because, like I said, it's got the really thick layer lines, but it's going to be really strong. I am wondering with this design how it sort of mounts to anything. Like there's no hole to mount it to a wall, but yeah, there we go. Hockey stick holder. Probably don't need the printer view anymore. Let's yeah, close the printer view and move me. Oh no. Move me down. That. Close the printer view. Fine. Let's get back to this. So we've figured out where we're going to put these holes. The other problem was that it wasn't strong enough. Partly because of the print settings. I wanted to speed things up, so this was basically hollow. Apart from where it needed some support on the inside, these kind of features. But otherwise, yeah, the infill was hollow, and it was really flexing. Nonetheless, I think I still need to beef it up more, because if this is being stacked, yeah, this counterbalance is bending forward. So, what I think I might do, instead of thickening these sections, I might add a kind of wavy feature. So instead of it printing in a straight line, the straight line's boring. I might add a sort of wavy feature so it extrudes in a bumpy way. Hopefully that won't interfere too much with the spice pots. That's one idea. Otherwise, I could just really lean into the print settings. It was really about this top bending down, partly because of the horizontal part flexing, but also because of this vertical part flexing forward. So stiffening up this vertical part with sort of columns might help. I'm just going to increase the print time. I want to keep this back face flat, because that's being pressed up against the wall. Could add a column to the front. That's going to make things a lot harder to print. Also, these kind of gates at the end didn't work. So so they need rethinking. These little hooks were just far too weak. They broke immediately. Bending it around this corner didn't work. So where am I going to start? The holes are easy to add and they're going to be added later. What I need to do is make a decision on how I'm going to improve the stiffness. Where's Mike? These are the original curves. Well, for the last print. What I'm wondering is, so from again, right layer. What was our new measurement? 224. Right there. If you look at my notebook at work, it's just covered in these random numbers. It's like mad investing something. It's constantly having to hold these short snippets of data. You know, like my mental RAM is not very very big. That's the length that we're going for now. What if I did a kind of move that aside? Up by 10. No, how am I going to get this? I'm going to do this in okay, I'm going to break this down into increasing sort of halves. And I'm definitely doing this in a very like sort of bodge jobby way. But that's the job. Sure, if you're watching this stream for like pro tips on how to do Rhino very efficiently, you're on the wrong stream. This is not a tutorial. This is about my design process and about making decisions on the fly and how these projects actually come to fruition. There we go. So I've now got some subdivisions. And let's try and build our curve from this. What if I make it really wavy? Okay, firstly I need it to come out tangent. Okay, that is going to be the unit. Get with curve. We're going to go 1 unit in, up by whatever that did. Cross 2 units, down, cross 2 units. No, we're going to go with cross 1 unit. And that's going to be 1 bump. Copy. Now I've just realized mathematically I didn't know whether this would be, yeah, so I've crossed that midpoint, not actually aligned halfway through the curve, so it's not going to be the right amount of curves. Now if I was thinking as a mathematician in geometry terms, I would have seen that coming, but I was not thinking. I was working much more sort of pragmatic. So we've got how many, what kind of subdivision? 2, 4, 6, 8, 16. That's not a 16. And then 16, but that's 32. More than 32. 1, 2. That's 16 divisions. Then that's 32. It's 64. That's 1/64. And I came to 1, 6. And 64 doesn't divide into. Does divide 4. Also divides into 8. So what we're going to do, we're going to do a curve that spans 8. 1, 6, 7, 8. Let's just expand that. So here's curve. We're going to come in by 1, up like that. Try that. Hold up, that's not looking good. That's not worked. Why hasn't that? I know all the folks who are. I know there's folks screaming at the screen as I'm trying to figure this thing out. But trust me, it's been a long day at work. What am I doing wrong here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 divisions. 64 divided by 8 is 8. So I'm expecting this whole length to be 8 of these curves. Another way to take that, scale it from the. That's the top point. That's the reference. We're just gonna scale it by 1/8. No. What? Why is that? Scale from there to there by a factor of 1/2. What would that do? Why is that so small? Shouldn't be like that small. Alright, let's do it decimal then. 0.12. What? That's balmy. What's going on? Why is my maths not working out on this? If I scale something by an eighth, I expect it to be 1/8 the size. But that's much smaller than the original. Right. That's a half. That's a quarter. That's an eighth. Draw a little box, and this is going to be my reference box. Put my reference box on there. Bang, it's exactly right. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's exactly the right length. So what went wrong with my curve? Was I just not copying it properly? Delete all my references. That's now meeting at the end. Alright, so my maths wasn't faulty. I was just not clicking properly. Fine. Join them together. Now, here's what I was planning on doing in the first place. I want to see what it looks like if we extrude that back wall just along that curve. It's called a sweep. Deselect, sweep. I want that's my rail. I want that's my profile. Everything's getting A. Or is it? No, it's just the way I'm looking at it. Then I want to bar that and that. Bar that and that. And let's look at the bottom. Leave deselect that as well. And maybe also extrude those curves. Why is the direction? Because direction that way. 2, 2, 5. So what we're going to do is, oh, it's done some funny things. It's capped that, and it shouldn't, but we'll get to that. Maybe I'll start to bring this curve up to follow that radius. The sweep again, gonna follow. Ah, it's only gonna do each section. That's a bit long. All right. Still getting used to this face mouse. Really good tool though. Navigating. This might be copy. Like that. Come back and correct that. Move. Right. I think this is going to be quite a stylish way to improve the stiffness of the part. As it's shading in the software in grey, it looks like a corrugated iron Anderson shelter. So we've now got this lip which is curving up around to this top edge. I wonder if we will be so lucky to simply loft from that. No, it's not. Okay, duplicate edge. Click all the way along. Join them. Try this. Because it's not quite smart. No, that I want. Now it should have them selected. Join. 8 curves joined into one open curve. Excellent. Now we loft from there to there. Oh my lord, that's actually because I've already got this fillet at the top. That is giving me my tangential continuity. I'm not going to explain what that is right now. Just trust me. That's what it's doing. Do I like that? Yeah, I like that. I wonder whether the effect of this will be as the spice rack comes in, as each spice bottle comes in, it gets sort of positioned in each one, in each slot. Might be a sort of nice added bonus. So I think I'm going to do the same thing here. Let's see how this works out. Sweep. That rail. Oh, I've got my curve down there. Excellent. I don't need to do all this joining business. And actually, I could have copied that curve up to the top, and then I wouldn't need to do it anyway. So, are we lucky enough to loft from? No. I copy that curve from there to there. Does that actually fit profile properly? Is that curve exactly the same as the edge? No. No, it's not. I can see it. So we're gonna have to edge thing again. Loop edge. This is creating a curve, extracting the curve back from the surface. Join them together. And then we loft our new curve to this edge. Bosh, look at that. Now I've just realized that the whole position, the 75 point whatever that whole division was, this line, to align with the growl, is, well, might not land neatly into one of these curves. Let's find out. $75.5. Here's my curve line. 70. Yeah, that's gonna pop a hole randomly through that curve. Is that an aesthetic issue that I'm prepared to compromise on, or force myself to do something about? I think I'm going to do something about it. But I don't know what. And we're now reaching the full hour of this stream. So I think we're just going to save that and leave it for another night. Now, that's a little bit disappointing that I didn't quite make the progress that I wanted to make. But that's how it goes. That's how it goes. Got a print done. That's good. Made some progress. Progress is better than perfection. And that's where it is. I'll definitely have something to keep me entertained over Christmas. Yeah, that's where we got to. Have a lovely evening, everyone. And hopefully I'll catch you next week. Otherwise, have a Merry Christmas.